May I introduce you to the Rose and Crown, this charming, oldie-worldy English taverna, this innocent location of the Battle of Rimini. There I took afternoon tea in the company of Damien and Simon, two Southend blokes I'd recognised from Gino's campsite. For years now, Brits have been coming here from all over Blighty. From West Ham to Plymouth Argyle, they've packed them in and beered them up. It's as subtle as the Okey Cokey. There I found the manager, the man who'd sold the drinks that night, claiming the violence was set up. Nothing to do with him, of course.
Obviously, the boys, they were saying that they were here just drinking and they didn't start anything. I declare that I still think now that everything was more or less planned and organized. Obviously, out of, we had about 300-400 people in this place. Obviously, they weren't not all aware of what would have happened, but it's a minority, they knew everything. And I'm quite convinced about it because everything started at the same time on both ends.
He reckons they were already planned, ready for it. He said, because during the afternoon they were being as good as well. They weren't giving any hassle at all. You know, they were right, you know, sharp. They weren't giving any hassle. They started at the right moment. Afterwards, they had a lot to drink.
Yeah, but listen, Rimini was the only place as well that didn't have the 48-hour ban.
Yeah, right. They said at Rimini, we're going to treat them.
He said to them.
No, Georgina, he said, one minute. He tried to be, what do you call it?
He tried to be a bit cleverer than anybody else. He thought, I'll make a few bob tonight. Be the only one who's going to sell them some booze.
No, Georgina, 1 minute.
No.
He said it, they all said it. No, Gina, it's true. And he said, I reckon they won't give us any trouble. We've been dealing with them for 25 years.
I think it would have been a lot better for the atmosphere if there were a lot more girls with them. That would have made a big difference.
Yes. Carry on talking about it.
Because, you know, when you get hundreds of boys on their own, or obviously what they do to enjoy themselves, they only drink, and drink, nothing else to do. Maybe with girls and women, probably they would have tried other things, pubs, discotheques, and some other things, you know.
Yeah. Whose end is that, eh?
I left the flesh pots of Rimini, disillusioned but undeterred. Basically, we were all travelling with the same label now. Made in England, handled with care. I think the Carabinieri have their own interpretation of that phrase. Naples was next, there was a quarter-final to be played, Cameroon were waiting, and nothing was going to stop me.
I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what's wrong with it, but I've got to get to Naples by tomorrow to get my ticket for the quarter-final. It'd be quite good if they could just ship the car back to England on the back of an AA truck. And I could accidentally leave the camera in the car, so that gets shipped back as well. I could maybe hire a moped or a scooter. Do the rest like that. Be much better, because that camera is becoming a pain in the arse.
I haven't mentioned this before, but in case you've forgotten, the camera, which had usually been strapped to a seat, had been my only constant companion, and it hadn't been a great relationship. If I could have found a comfortable way of strapping it to my forehead, I would have done.
Documentaria, BBC.
The car couldn't be fixed straight away, and I was in a hurry to get my quarter-final ticket. My AA breakdown vouchers allowed me to hire a Fiat Uno, made by robots and driven by idiots. Pretty nifty, though. I loved it. I stopped off to eat just outside Naples and caught the end of Italy nudging Ireland out of the tournament 1-0. It might have been the end of an incredible World Cup run, but I bet that night the Irish were painting Rome green. It was getting late to find accommodation. Instead of heading into the centre of Naples, the carabinieri in the restaurant directed me to a campsite. I must admit, I didn't fancy it.
Fucking put them over there, put them over here, you toilet. Oh yeah.
I needn't have worried though. I met old faces from Sardinia, and it was no problem. I was allowed to join the club. Above all, they now thought that what I was doing here was okay.
No, you've got to leave them like it's pork. It's got to be cooked slowly.
Is that pork?
Yeah, you
We got a nice spoil it. Man, you got no problem, mate.
Let the flames go down.
I was back in the bosom.
You Jersey bastards, you assholes!
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 Tell me what's been happening since Sardinia.
Pardon?
Tell me what's been happening since Sardinia.
Not a great deal, still the same, isn't it?
What?
Same amount of boredom when there ain't no football on. Spending enough money again. Well, if she ain't there, I was saying. I'll ring them up, I've got the phone number. You'll go back to Bologna, aren't you, though? Fucking lose the van. Fuck the van.
I knew I wasn't with a bunch of girl guides, but this time it didn't bother me. I figured that should the occasion arise, these guys were well able to take care of themselves. But I didn't seriously think that they had any intention of orchestrating violence.
Yeah, well, what? We got two drivers.
Got 3 drivers here. Go out tomorrow morning, and if they start off a couple of hours before us, we'll catch them up on the Autostrada.
We'll get a couple of people down,
But then we're all saying this, we've got to fucking win first. You got what?
Get a couple in it.
What do you mean we've got, like...
Can't you do a short job?
Give them all out by the time we got to Nice.
What sort of budget did you set out?
There was still a drinks ban either side of match days. So on the afternoon of the quarter-final, we wandered out of the campsite and, would you believe, found a British Forces base just up the road. Her Majesty's services were not only serving cold beer, but selling it at subsidised prices. Maybe our luck was turning. We had a couple of beers, saluted our hosts, and boarded our awaiting hoolie buses. Our convoy, with its very own police escort, had been laid on to get us the 15 miles to the stadium. Singing and sweating, Bobby's army squeezed its way through the Neapolitan suburbs. I'd barely heard a good word spoken about Bobby Robson in the last 3 weeks, and yet everyone seemed willing to join his army, me included. By the time we reached the San Paolo Stadium, it was clear that Hooligano Inglesi had reached cult status. The circus had come to town. It was actually the first time the fans had had coordinated services laid on for them, but for all the wrong reasons. The hoolie buses were providing a service of containment. No one wanted the so-called animals escaping their cages. But in Naples, our hosts turned out in numbers to see the show, and the performers gave a worthy performance.